name is Deborah Williams, host of Creators Podcast, a Boundless Media USA production. And I cannot believe it either. We are on our fabulous 34th episode, and I have a very special guest with me today. His name is Eric Blanco, and he is an entertainment specialist as well as an actor. Hello, Eric. How are you today?
Hello, Deborah. How are we doing today? I'm pretty good myself.
Great. Well, it's just so amazing to have you on the show. So, everyone, let's just go ahead and dive right in. So, Eric, let me ask you, what is an entertainment specialist?
Well, I like to label myself an entertainment specialist because I've gone from different realms of entertainment itself, everywhere from writing, which is where I started. I got my first degree back in Florida. My associates is completely in writing. Started with creative writing itself, moved on to scripting, working in a little bit of journalism. That landed me in editing back in NBC. And I started kind of falling in love with the process. So I started learning a lot more about editing. And before I knew it, I was gifted a handy cam one Christmas many, many moons ago. And my creative mind said, what can I do with this? So before getting any, I want to say, film experience at all, any content experience at all, I actually started to try and shoot my own films. I've got two of them that I put out without any experience, and they're pretty well-sized films, 15 minutes each, and they've got everything from intros, outros, music. There is all kinds of effects in them and stuff like that. And again, this was before I even decided I wanted to work in film. Going through all this taught me a lot, but I knew I had a lot more to learn. And luckily, around that time in NBC, I was actually approached about being an actor while I was working for the editing, which was really cool. I did enjoy my editing time, but of course, after the experiences I was having, I found it to be very aligning per se to for someone to approach me, ask me if I've ever acted. I said no, and they were pretty much just like, "All right, come on with me. Let's go ahead and bring you onto this set. You'll start as a background." Slowly but surely, they ended up moving me up closer to more featured roles. And this was towards the end of my college life, I want to say, in Florida.
Wow, Eric, that is a lot, and I'm sure you keep really busy. That is very amazing. So, before getting into entertainment with NBC and production and acting, what did you do?
I thought I had my life planned out just like anybody else. And I do tip my hat to any sort of podcast, radio, or show like this that do put talents out there that are just on the rise because it helps us learn that we're pretty much just like everybody else. We've started just like everybody else. We make decisions, we cry, we get hungry just like everybody else. And starting is where I want to say, as far back as I want to say middle school, I had the plan of getting into the Air Force, actually. That was my entire goal. I even went to JROTC. I did all 4 years, or at least I tried to. I did some moving around between high schools there for a little bit, but I did as many of the years of JROTC as I could. I did all sorts of training. I worked out a lot. I knew everything. I passed my ASVAB with flying colors, all that good stuff. Things seemed to be on track, but when it came down to the very moment, I couldn't land the actual position I wanted as an actual pilot, fighter pilot per se, because I didn't have 20/20 vision, as you can tell. And at the very moment, that was an absolute requirement. I mean, you're going these really fast paces in the sky, going after these really tiny things, split-second decisions. So I completely understood it, but it kind of broke me. There was a couple of years there where I had no idea what to do with my life, to be completely honest. Everything I had spent my time learning, doing, just investing in, it just shattered right in front.
Okay. So, my next question is, what has been your most valuable lesson that you've learned in entertainment so far?
So the most valuable lesson I've learned so far in the entertainment industry is that it's not exactly the flying colors that everybody sees on TV. And to be completely honest, being that my first experimentations with it were before I even got any sort of education or experience in it, when I really just sat down and said, you know what, I really would like to try and make a movie. Let me see what it would be like to really just sit down and do this. No mentorship, no teachers, no YouTube, none of that. Just pure passion, pain, and demon slaying per se. And I sit down, I find out that, you know what, really it's not exactly as easy as everybody thinks to write a script. Even for a 10-minute little film as a high schooler that you're going to do with a couple friends, there's a lot of work that goes into putting words on a piece of paper that makes sense, that have a three-story or a 3-point arc, all that good stuff. So to be completely honest, it even that by itself jogged my mind.
So then I'm curious, how important is it to have that educational background and learn the craft from the beginning in entertainment?
Okay, so if you want my completely honest 2 cents, I don't think it's direly important to go out and get a degree in acting. I'll come out and I'll say that right away from very fresh in my career. I genuinely don't. Does it help? Yes. But you don't need to go out and get a bachelor's in acting, right? It does make sense for more of the theoreticals, right? There is a bit of mise en scène per se that goes into directing or producing, and there is a bit of legalities that go into some of the paperwork, right? So there is some stuff that you do have to learn, and it would make sense to at the very least hit the YouTube Academy for, which is what I would suggest. A lot of stuff we can learn nowadays online, especially when it comes to industries like this. The benefit to I guess sitting down and actually paying for your education, investing in education in something like this, is that you get hands-on coach and experience, which that's irreplaceable. You could teach yourself so much out of a book or off of a screen, but to actually get something done yourself on the field or to have a mentor who has done things, who has made mistakes and can help guide you through those, let it be a professor or a teacher or just an acting coach. That can be very, very invaluable, along with the kind of people you meet in these facilities, right? You meet other people who are striving to be exactly what you want to be.
So, what kinds of unique challenges have you faced getting your start in entertainment?
Well, being that I'm not exactly the traditional software actor out here, right? I'm just scratching 5'11", and the world these days can be a little rough. So there's a lot of problems out there for somebody like me trying to get a job in the entertainment industry today. But I think a lot of the keys here are persistency. Now, the biggest challenges I have faced that I really can't do anything about have been things like the pandemic in the midst of me going to college and trying to break into this industry, right? And this wasn't exactly helped, being that a year or two after that, because it took a good year or so for the world to recuperate after that. Things were still shut down. Nobody could really go anywhere. Industries still weren't giving out internships or positions. They were just paying the people they had because there was a lot of remote work going on, even in the entertainment industry itself. And after this good year or two, right? This was, I want to say, 2 years into my college out here in Los Angeles, where I came to get this experience. My entire industry went on strike for an entire year. So I want to say that was 2 to 3 years of learning from behind a computer and really having to fight slash create my own opportunities if I even wanted to gain any experience at all.
So, Eric, what types of roles and characters do you like to play?
For myself, I'll start this by saying that I'm a huge horror fanatic. I love to write horror, I love to shoot horror, I love to watch horror. But surprisingly, I have this really crazy love, this quirky love for weird little movies, specifically if they have animals in them. And they don't have to be scary at all. They just have to have a nice story, right? For example, as a horror director and writer, my favorite movie is The Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is a nice little animated animatronic talking animal movie. But the subjects they talk on are very heavy. And films like this, they have changed my life, even as a child. I will not shy away that I grew up in a single parent home, just raised by my mother. So it was hard to find heroes growing up. And a lot of these guys I did find in books, in stories, in games, movies, stuff like that. So for myself, I would love to be able to represent any of these stories of just these characters that just seem to be these wild little misfits that still have this opportunity to change the world, or at least their immediate reality around them.
So, As an actor, who is your biggest inspiration?
Wow, that is a great one. Again, I've grown up on all sorts of films. I want to say inspirations from different time periods, right? I love Michael Keaton, but he's from a completely different age. I can't exactly down with somebody who just watches today's TV and ask them, like, what do you think about Michael Keaton? They probably would have no idea who I'm talking about. So I love Michael Keaton, right? But a lot of people would probably recognize the name Johnny Depp. Um, I really love work like Tim Burton's work. Let's go into the director's side of things, or Guillermo del Toro, right? These are names that probably go behind the screen because they're not the actors on screen, but these are the minds that are putting these amazing pieces of art that we love and know so much on the screen.
Great, Eric. Well, now, everyone, it is time for our round of wacky questions. And I'm just going to ask Eric a few little wacky questions just to get to know a little bit more about him. So tell me, Eric, what is your favorite hobby or pastime?
My favorite hobby of pastime. I am not gonna lie, this may seem a little cliche, but I love to watch movies. Oh man, do I love to watch movies. I love to watch movies when I'm eating. I almost can't even get into my dish until I've got the right show on. I'll let the dang thing get cold sometimes and reheat it.
What is your zodiac sign, Eric?
I'm an Aquarius, actually. I was born on February 1st, an air sign, I think, as they call it, although I would believe it's a water sign. But yeah, I believe we're supposed to be a little wild, and I'd like to say that I take that with a lot of heart. I love to feel free-spirited, and I really do fight for the will of others.
Okay. Do you prefer the sunrise or the sunset?
I, for one, prefer the sunset, but I won't let that steer me away from saying that, I'll never watch a sunrise or I don't crave it.
And my last and final question for you, if you could visit any planet out there, which one would it be?
If I could visit any planet out there, which one would it? Dang, that's probably the hardest questions you've asked me. You know how many planets there are out there? That is nuts. That is nuts. Okay, I would say I'll have to go with one that's outside of our solar system, right? Because theoretically, we know everything about all the ones that are in our solar system, at least everything they want to tell us. And I, for one, again, I'm a sucker for mystery. I'm a sucker for experience, and I'm a sucker for knowledge. So if I could just be spearheaded and shot out to a planet that we just have eyes on, I think there is a galaxy that we have neighboring. It's like 366 billion light years away or something. It's our closest neighboring galaxy. I believe it's called the Andromeda. So I'd say if I could get eyes on the Andromeda, maybe I'll go to one of the planets that look like they have a little bit of water on there.
Well, everyone, that is it for today. We had Eric Blanco, actor, entertainment specialist. Eric, where can everyone find you to learn a little bit more about you?
Sure. If you guys do want to visit anytime, you can find all of my work via YouTube. My YouTube channel is at Eric J. Blanco L. You could also find me at Django the Official. That's more so what I'm known as here, more locally and as a talent per se. You could also find a lot of my stuff, Instagram, it's all the same, at Django the Official. Please do go check it out, and I absolutely do my best to go support right back to you guys. Soon enough, hopefully you'll be able to see me on some channels and on some AAA titles per se, so you won't have to search too far very long from now.
Great. Well, everyone, I'm Deborah Williams, host of Creators, and that is our podcast for today. Thank you. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.